Alright, good afternoon and welcome to my third presentation on identity theft prevention. My first two presentations covered a simple do-it-yourself way to save money and how to manage one's budget effectively. This seminar will focus on how to protect oneself from being taken advantage of once you have your spending and budgeting habits under control. How many of you out there or somebody you know have experienced some sort of identity theft? Alright, that sounds about right. There's about a 25-50% chance, depending on your source, of it being victimized at one point in your lifetime. And it's essential to know how to avoid some common traps. It's far cheaper and less time consuming to do some easy preventative measures than to go through the hassle, money, and man hours of trying to fix your name and reputation. And the definition occurs when somebody uses your personal identifying information without your permission to commit fraud or other crimes. And the information can either be your name, social security number, or a credit card number, or any combination. And the most common crimes related to this are credit-related fraud, which would be opening new credit card names in your credit card accounts in your name without you knowing about it, and you end up footing the bill, or you check your credit card score later, and you don't know what happened. Government documents fraud, people use social security numbers to receive government benefits, and they can even get a driver's license and a stolen name with their own picture. And a common scheme with this is people target early seniors about to hit retirement age, about early 60s, and they'll take out social security benefits in their name. And so when they hit 65, 3 years later, they go file and they say, hey, we've been paying you for 3 years. And so it's kind of a big disappointment for retirement. And there's employment fraud where people actually get jobs using other people's information. So people go and they check the records later, and they go for another job and they say, hey, you were employed here, and there's no idea what's going on there. And then people actually get phone accounts and utilities in other people's names as well. So other ones are most common bank and loan fraud would be taking out loans, opening new bank accounts, or basically just making electronic withdrawals out of their accounts. And then there's others which don't happen as often, such as renting homes and maybe getting medical services. I mean, those aren't nearly as common. And then some other really rare ones that are pretty bad are sometimes people get pulled over, and when they're getting a citation, they'll give out somebody's information they've had, and then when they don't show up to court for the ticket, somebody else has a warrant on their record next time they get pulled over. So here's a graph breakdown about how common each of these are, and obviously credit related is the most common because it is by far the easiest to get a hold of somebody's debit or credit information, especially when people have it on their person most of the time as well. And it's important because Federal Trade Commission estimates about 9 million Americans every year are victims of identity theft, and about 2/3 of those interviewed in a given year lost some amount of money. And the estimated loss during a 6-month period during a certain year was about $3.2 billion. And some of these victims lose out on job opportunities, and they can be denied loans for students, housing, or cars because of their poor credit reports. That could take years to boost back up to where they were originally. And some of these problems can be resolved within a day or a matter of hours, and some of them take months or hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how severe the case was. Like, I've personally been a victim where somebody's charged $3,000 onto jewelry and gasoline and grease. And so obviously that was a huge red flag. When I checked my statements, I just called them up, didn't get charged anything. So it's pretty easy to fix if you catch it and you stay on top of it. So common methods to steal identities include dumpster diving, which is just going through trash and business buildings, stuff like that, looking for official records, that stuff that hasn't been shredded or destroyed properly. Skimming, which is actually pretty creative, where they actually install a device like this on the front panel of an ATM machine that looks very similar. Like, that's one they just popped off that bank machine. And that little white part is actually scans the information before it actually goes into the machine. So the guy just has to come back at the end of the day, pop it off, he'll go up to his computer, he's got a whole laundry list of numbers that just went through that day. And then there's phishing, where people send out spam or pop-up messages or put up fake website fronts of financial institutions. Send you an email saying, hey, you're a valued customer, we need you to change your account information, enter your name, password, and then enter a new password, and they'll put up a website front that looks a lot like the actual website. And a lot of people fall for it. And people even change your address, because when they open up new accounts, like bank accounts, credit, stuff like that, they'll change your address so all those bills get forwarded to that new address. So it'll take you maybe months before you even find out this has been going on. And then there's just old-fashioned stealing, where people pick up your wallet, you leave it somewhere, pickpocket you, steal it from your house. Everybody knows what that is. Some of these preventative measures to take are with internet security, use intricate passwords. Don't use anything simple like your last name or your phone number or anything like that. And don't use the default security settings on social networking websites, stuff like that, because they do sell a lot of your information to marketing aggregators. And that's where about 90% of identity theft victims are on those files. They get swapped around with these marketing firms, so people do get a hold of that, and sometimes it is an inside job with some employees. And with Social Security, you should never give out your number unless it's absolutely necessary, like a credit check, something like that. And you should never have it written down or carry your card around in your wallet because, like I said, like wallet stuff, the easiest way to get stuff stolen. If your number's right there, you're just a golden target. Now, the trash and mail, it's a good idea to shred all important paperwork, even those pre-screened credit offers, because those do have some information on them that can be used. And if you ever want to get out of those credit card offers, they do get pretty annoying after a while, there's a phone number right there, 858, opt out. And you also want to store your information in secure places, especially in your home. If you have gardeners, a live-in nanny, work done on the house, stuff like that. It's actually surprising how many of these cases occur with family, friends, acquaintances, and even family members sometimes. And you want to keep a close tab on all your credit and debit accounts because the statement's right there, and like what happened with me, you can catch these things within a matter of hours if you just check your statement every day. You should pay attention. And checking your credit score once a year will, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I mean, there are all those agencies advertising on TV, like, pay us $10 a month and you get all the time. I mean, by law, you get it free once a year, and that's about all you really need to check it anyways. And what's good if it happens to you is you should dispute any unauthorized transactions, and these are only the numbers by law. Most institutions will cover by way more than that, because like I said, I had like 3,000 charged, and they covered all of it, just dropped it instantly. And you want to notify any creditors you have that something's happened. You want to check your credit reports, like all 3 of them, because I've actually had credit issues too, where one of my reports was skewed way lower than my other 2, and I had to go fight something that came up on there with some DirecTV deal with that. That was a big deal. But. And most importantly, action must be taken immediately to avoid any further damage, because the longer you wait, the more money they're going to siphon off you, the more headache you're going to have, more hours you're going to have to put into this. And so for the activity, we have 4 case studies, 1 for each table. Basically a scenario, just give you a minute to think about it. When I call in a group, just say basically what this person is doing wrong and why, or what they should be doing instead. That's it, case 1, if you're ready. Okay.
So basically, he shouldn't be doing that. He should shred his the pre-screened offers that he's getting.
Yeah, you should pay attention in your mail, even all the junk and the coupons that come in, because a lot of those pre-screened letters will just be kind of wrapped up in the bundle. And I know I'm guilty of this with my roommates too. We'll just screen through bills and just toss the rest, because most of the time you don't really get anything for it anyways. All right, group 2. Case study 2.
Well, you should probably read the whole form before filling it out.
Yeah, because there is a lot of paperwork for signing up for organizations, stuff like that. Even just services too, where they'll ask for social, but it's not mandatory. It doesn't have a little asterisk next to it. So most of the time, even if it does say it's mandatory, you can challenge them and question them about it if they really need it and how they're going to use that information. But sometimes even if it's necessary, you really don't have to give it up to them. And group 3.
He needs to make his passwords more complex and less familiar.
Yeah, pretty basic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using the same thing for all your files. Just, keep it complex. Don't make it something real easy to guess if somebody knows anything about you at all. And case 4.
Do you think that he should get a lock on his office or something?
Yeah, I mean, even if not that, just get a personal safe or just keep everything in your files, like in your desk locked. Like, don't leave anything out, especially if you're working at home, especially, if you have other people's information laying around. Because like I said earlier, I mean, it almost sounds like some kind of scare tactic you hear on the news, but it does happen where people do this kind of stuff. And it's better to be safe than sorry. In conclusion, I just want to emphasize that everybody should take the time to, secure your finances and take the necessary steps because it's not worth it in the long run if something should happen to you. And hopefully you won't be a victim. Are there any questions?
Is there some kind of a law that prohibits people from, I guess, dumpster diving? I mean, is it city by city, or how does that go? Because
Honestly-
I feel sometimes like telling people, that that's not, their things and they shouldn't be doing it, but I don't know if,
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're more strict around like corporate buildings and stuff like that, but everywhere I've lived in Long Beach, I've had dumpster divers
Yep.
in my local trash can, So I'm not sure if it's even enforced if it is illegal. So I'm not really sure about how the law really goes with that.
just curious.
Okay.
It is illegal though. It says it under the trash can. Underneath it says this is
Yeah.
trash is private property still and you're not allowed to go through
It just
it.
seems like one of those illegal but not enforced. kind
But
of
not
rules.
enforced.
Right, well, that's what they get done, I suppose, if they did try to do that, but, okay, well, that's good to know.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.